Hey everyone. We use these incredible AIs every single day, but have you ever stopped to think about what's actually going on behind the scenes? It's not magic. It is a massive, massive engineering effort. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and look at the real challenges, the hidden hurdles that engineers are tackling right now to make AI faster, cheaper, and way more reliable.
You've totally been there, right? You ask an AI a simple question, and you just get that loading animation. Or you read these crazy articles about how expensive it is to run these things. It just makes you wonder, if this AI is so smart, why is it still so slow, so pricey, and sometimes just plain unpredictable? All right, so let's get right into it. You hear all the time in the headlines about the insane cost of training an AI model. But here's the thing, that's kind of like a one-time startup cost. The real money pit, the thing that keeps engineers up at night, is the cost of running that model for you and me and millions of other people every single second. That process has a name. It's called inference, and that is where the real war is being fought right now. So, that brings us to our first huge hurdle, and it's all about the money. It's about the brutal economics of trying to make AI feel lightning fast. This right here is the heart of the problem. It's a field called inference economics, and honestly, it boils down to a really simple but really painful trade-off. You want a faster answer from your AI? Well, you got to pay up for more computing power. Want to save a few bucks? Get ready to wait. Speed costs money, period.
And look, this isn't some small sideline issue, it's a huge deal. There's this great quote from a researcher, Edge or Dill, who basically says that the total cost of just using these models, the inference cost, has blown up. It's now often even bigger than the crazy high cost it took to train the thing in the first place. That is a mind-boggling, ongoing bill.
So this curve you're looking at, this shows that trade-off perfectly. It's called the Pareto frontier, and you can think of it as the best possible deal you can get. See, if you want a faster response, you have to move to the left along the curve. But what happens when you do? Yep, you also move up, and up means higher cost. It's this constant, frustrating balancing act. For a long time, this felt like a law of physics you just couldn't break.
But what if you could break that law? What if you could cheat? Well, engineers, being the clever people they are, found a way. And it's an absolutely brilliant trick.
Okay, the easiest way to wrap your head around this is with a simple analogy. Picture a super smart but very, very busy senior executive. That's our big, powerful, and kind of slow AI model. Now imagine that executive has a super fast, eager-to-please junior assistant. That's our small, nimble, and much quicker AI model. So here's how this trick, called speculative decoding, works. Instead of bothering the big executive model to painstakingly write one word at a time, which is super slow, the assistant model jumps in and just drafts a bunch of possible words, like a whole sentence, really fast. Then, the big executive model just swoops in, glances over the whole draft at once and says, yep, that's good, that's good, that's good, oop, that's wrong. It approves everything up to the first mistake and only has to spend its brain power fixing that one thing. It's just wildly more efficient.
And the result? It is absolutely staggering. Just look at the difference here. On the left, that's our old trade-off curve. But on the right, with speculative decoding, the whole curve shifts down and to the left. That is literally the holy grail for engineers. It means we're not trading off anymore. We broke the law. We now have something that is both faster and cheaper at the same time. It's just a massive win.
Okay, so we've made AI faster and cheaper. Awesome. We can all go home, right? Well, not so fast, because solving the speed and cost problem has actually uncovered an even thornier, more complicated issue, making these things reliable. The reason why is that we're moving into a new era of AI. We're building what are called agentic AI systems. Now, this isn't your simple chatbot anymore. Think of it like this. Instead of one AI trying to do everything, you have a whole team of specialized AIs. They work together, they use different tools, they talk to each other, all to solve one really complex problem.
And as you can probably guess, this new level of complexity is giving developers some major headaches. I mean, check this out. A user study found that almost 80%, that's 4 out of 5, of the people actually building these things say that their unpredictable nature is a huge, huge challenge.
The technical term for this headache is non-determinism, and all it really means is that you can give the AI system the exact same question twice and get two completely different processes running under the hood. The agents might take a totally different path to get to the answer each time, and that, as you can imagine, makes them wildly unpredictable and an absolute nightmare to fix when something goes wrong. This diagram really shows you what's going on. So an AI is trying to solve a math problem here.
To do that, it has to think it through. It breaks the problem down, it plans its attack, and then it executes. Each one of these boxes is like a step in its thought process. But here's the kicker. The path it takes through those boxes can be different every single time. So how on earth are you supposed to guarantee you'll get the right answer when the way it gets there is constantly changing? It's a huge problem.
So, to fix this, we need a completely new way of thinking. We have to stop just looking at the final answer and start peering deep inside the AI's brain while it's working.
For the longest time, testing AI was what we call black box testing. It's like being a food critic. You get a finished cake, you taste it, and you say, yep, this is good, or nope, this is bad. You don't know how it was made. For these new agentic systems, that's just not going to cut it. We need what's called behavioral benchmarking. We have to move from being the food critic to being right there in the kitchen, watching the chef's every single move. We need to see the whole recipe, step by step, to figure out what went wrong.
And watching the chef means tracking everything. We're talking about what was the exact path the AI took. Why did it make that decision instead of another one? How did the different AI agents talk to each other? What tools did they pull out of their toolbox? You have to see that entire internal process, that whole chain of thought, to have any hope of finding the real reason for a mistake. That's the only way to build systems you can actually trust.
All right, so let's put these two big ideas together. You've got the money problem on one side and this new reliability problem on the other. And when you look at them both, a really clear picture of where AI is heading starts to take shape.
It boils down to this. There are two major keys to making AI work for everyone, everywhere. First, you need economic optimization. You need those genius engineering tricks like speculative decoding to make it fast and affordable. But second, you need behavioral analytics. You need those white box tools that let you see inside the machine so you can make these super complex agentic systems actually dependable.
And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. You hear so much about building bigger, badder AI models. But the real future of AI, it's not just about size. It's about mastering the incredibly complex, often totally hidden engineering that makes it all work, that makes it cheap enough, fast enough, and reliable enough for you and me.
So, here's a thought to leave you with. The next time you see a headline about some amazing new AI breakthrough, just remember, the real revolution might not be the model itself. It might be the brilliant, behind-the-scenes engineering that actually makes it usable for the rest of us. We're seeing this massive shift from pure data science to hardcore, sophisticated engineering. And the only question left is, are we ready for it?